Hi, Clayton speaking. Welcome into Sticky Sims. It's where I love to build and play The Sims. I hope you're doing well today. I've been working on this project in Glimmerbrook. I'm calling it Let's Love on Glimmerbrook. In a nutshell, basically, when you get the Realm of Magic pack, you get this world of Glimmerbrook, and it's really beautiful, but the lots are not the ones that ship out of the box. So I'm working on, putting some replacements out there on the gallery for you guys. I wanted us to, start loving on Glimmerbrook again because I feel like we sleep on this world. So I've done a number of different builds, and I'm doing at least 2 on each of the lots that we're given with this world. And finally, as much as I really didn't want to, but I knew I needed to, I put out a starter home because I know even though I typically don't like to let my Sims struggle, I know a lot of people like to actually honestly start with a starter home. So I did that. Now that said, I will let you know it is probably like 90% base game and a couple of little things here and there that I included from the Realm of Magic pack. The big issue that I kept running into was the pricing. So like a lot of the Realm of Magic stuff that came with the pack is kind of expensive when you're comparing it to the other like base game items. Because the world of Glimmerbrook is kind of a woodsy, northwestern United States type area, I figured I could go like a modern, maybe glass wall type route. So that's ultimately what I did. And I like how it came out. I did a very open floor plan, kind of like a studio or a loft. Well, not really a loft, but it's really just ultimately like one kind of big room that I've used different like levels and platforms to separate things up. Well, with the exception of the bathroom, of course. So things do seem a little backwards right now as far as the building process. And that is because it is a starter home. So I kind of did a like basic shell, and then I immediately jumped in and started filling in all of the pieces of like furniture and different things that we absolutely needed to have for a like residential build. I didn't want to get, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess carried away. That's not a very hard thing to come up with. Anyways, I have this problem where I get carried away actually building up the house before I start furnishing, and then I'm left with like little to no funds to actually, have furniture. So we took the opposite approach, and I immediately went in and just started putting everything in. Now, like I said, I did originally try to use some pieces. Like I did try to use the dresser. I tried to use some like of the sofas and couches that we got with the Realm of Magic pack, and ultimately I've pretty much swapped out everything except for the counters now that I'm thinking about it. I did use a fencing piece that's really pretty. It kind of follows the like Art Nouveau type style, but it also kind of reminds me of like wrought iron fences from here, like in New Orleans. That's where I'm from. Maybe not like black iron, but you get what I'm saying. I guess in a nutshell, I basically tried to use glass and stone as far as like the textures go, as far as the platforms and the walls. And then I incorporated different like wood elements as far as the actual furniture pieces to make it a little cozy and lived in. Now, one of the things that I'll also say, I guess low-key kind of complain about, this is like the starter home lot that came with the world. So I just chose to build it here, and I just don't understand why the starter home is on a 30 by 20 lot. If you're starting off in the game, I would imagine you want as much funds as you can, right? So why is this not like a 20 by 20 or a 20 by 15 lot? You know what I mean? But it's fine, it's fine. I just kind of utilized a negative space, if you will, as far as the yard goes. I ended up actually not doing a front entry. It's kind of, I don't want to say concealed, but like you enter from the side in a way. So I used that as an opportunity to kind of create this cute little like fountain with steps going up number. I originally was going to try to use the half walls there, but the trimming on the half wall just wasn't really cooperating because it was on a diagonal. I guess this is kind of what I get for trying to make my own stairs instead of just using the stairs that are available. But I did find this cute like white, I guess it's like a white board. It was in the debug items with base game. So I just kind of used that, stacked one on top of it to kind of create a like faux barrier, I guess, if you will. I ended up covering it with different greens on the front side just to kind of complete the like perimeter of the house. I end up putting these shrubs that I use. I feel like I use them all the time to kind of surround this lot. I originally was thinking that you could like walk around the entire house because this lot is kind of like central to the world and it's really, really pretty here. So I figured your sim would want to, you know, take a look, watch the sunset or watch the sunrise, you know. Maybe I'm just romantic. Now let's see. If I remember correctly, I believe this lot comes to right over 16,000 simoleons, which I was proud of. But the way that I usually do starter homes is I actually grab like a new sim, start a new game, if you will. I go in with that sim with their starter funds. Like the sim that I used here, she started with 20,000 simoleons. I immediately go in, I purchased this lot, and I purchased it bulldozed. So that left us with about 18,250, I believe, simoleons. So when all was said and done, I think I still left your sim, if you ended up using this one the same kind of way that I did, with about like 500 simoleons or so, which that should be good for like the first maybe 2 rounds of bills and enough to kind of, you know, feed you, get you started. I did put in a bunch of different like activities so that you could kind of get your sim started if you were starting fresh. Things like the easel so that you could, you know, start creating artwork, different things like that, work on your creative and painting skills, use the cheapest kitchen appliances that I could. There is a TV and a computer in the living room. Instead of putting a end table or like an accent like bedside table, I kind of just put this like bookshelf that fits on the wall. I ended up putting in an alarm clock in there instead of a light. Just felt like it was kind of fitting for like this back little nook corner for the bed to be a little bit darker, especially since pretty much the rest of the house is covered in like glass panels. So yeah, if you download this and you feel that it's too dark back there, then you could very easily just sell the little alarm clock piece that I put on that shelf and just replace it with a lamp or a candle or something. I don't know. I originally was trying to include the telescope right here. I think it's called like back pocket observatory or something, to kind of help build your logic skill. But it ended up being just a little too expensive and I wasn't able to buy the other pieces and different things that I wanted in the house. Like the computer, for example. The computer is a very great buy as far as when you're trying to like build skills up from scratch for your sim, just because there's so many different things that you can do there as opposed to just building the logic skill at night. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, yeah, so I did eventually run out of money and I wasn't able to put as many plants and like rugs and curtains and different things inside, and that's because it's a starter home. I try to use a bunch of live edit and debug objects, like especially these little hanging plants that I put outside. I just feel like little different touches like that kind of make it not look like a starter home, at least from the outside. Then of course, you know, you go look inside and you're like, wow, there's nothing in here. One of the things that I never enjoy about starter homes is I usually don't do the like nano can, the trash can, which is actually a really good object, especially if you have a larger household, just because you can make money from basically throwing things away for your sims. But anywho, I'm getting sidetracked with the build and all the different things, but I did include a burglar alarm and a fire alarm in the kitchen side. There wasn't really a spot for me to put the burglar alarm by the front door, but because it's such a small build, I think it'll be okay. There's also no fitness equipment necessarily with this lot, so you might just need to go for a jog or go visit a gym or something if you want to work on that fitness skill. Now let's see. Oh, yep, I did use a couple live edit objects to decorate the like trash area. I put a AC unit on top. I didn't really get too fancy with the lighting either. I just kind of used these little bitty saucer lights, and I only put really like one in the bathroom, I think, right over where you could shower, and I put 2 in the dining room and then 2 in the living room. I was fighting really, really hard trying to keep that sofa from Realm of Magic, but I ultimately was like, wow, this is over 1,000 and I just needed to get rid of it. It's just such a cute couch. So yep, and then let's see, as I'm going in, I did put in like black concrete floors. No, I didn't do the black concrete floors. I did leave the black concrete ceilings. I feel like it kind of fit the little, the way that I guess I used platforms for a roof instead of putting an actual roof piece down. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could have saved money if I wouldn't have done platforms, but I liked the way it looked. So anyway, sue me. I think it was like over the summer, a few months ago, is when I discovered that they have these little like orbs of light that you can use from the Realm of Magic pack. It's in the debug items. So now every time that I'm like building in here, I feel the need to add that little like it's not like a chalice. What is it? It's like a little pedestal kind of thing, and put a fancy, you know, orb of light on top. Like I said, I was really just desperate trying to find different things that I could use from the actual Realm of Magic pack. Otherwise, this was just going to be like a base game modern home in the middle of Glimmerbrook, which, I mean, now I'm sitting here saying it really kind of ultimately is. Yeah, it's just the items. Like I was saying at the beginning of the video, everything is so expensive that came with the Realm of Magic pack. And then everything is also so incredibly like niche. There are these like doors that I can think of, these like glass doors with these pretty like stained, I don't want to say mosaic, but like these really pretty doors that came with the Realm of Magic pack, but it just didn't fit this build. And then it's also crazy expensive, like I said. But let me quit complaining. We're supposed to be loving on Glimmerbrook, Clayton. We're supposed to be loving. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna make a nice, cute little lot to fit here in Glimmerbrook, even if I didn't use a lot of the build buy items that came with this pack. When I originally, actually, truth be told, when I was thinking of this Glimmerbrook project and wanting to love on it, I was like, maybe I'll just, you know, try to redo what EA did, and I'll just redo all of the lots with just base game and Realm of Magic, and that quickly went down the drain because of the items. I just didn't have the items that I needed. I did do some other limited pack builds, so you can go check them out, and I think every single one I used Horse Ranch, but anyways. I'm just finishing up the terrain paint here, adding in a little path just to kind of make it a little bit more homey. Video is coming to an end. Did a little tour for you at the end. I hope you enjoyed this little base game and Realm of Magic starter home. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful week. Love you. Bye.